church, family, and friends.
Good evening, Epiphany Lutheran Church and friends. Welcome to Friday Night Fun Night.
Friday Night Fun Night.
The Mother's Day edition.
And Kentucky Derby, as I keep hearing everybody talk about. Kentucky Derby is tomorrow.
That's right. Go horses. There we go. That's how much I pay.
They just had Chippy Skippy on.
Chippy
the horse
Skippy.
was the godson of a very famous Kentucky Derby winner in the 60s. And the horse lost 101 races because it never quite left. When everybody came out, the horse was about 10 seconds behind because Chippy Skippy wasn't ready to come out.
Chippy Skippy.
But they had a remembrance for Chippy. It was very cute, very sweet. On the road with Steve Harmon on CBS News tonight. So yes.
There we go.
So you want to say hi to everybody? You want to grab?
Hey.
You say whoop whoop?
You gonna say hi? You gonna bark? You gonna say something? Nope.
No,
All right.
Leo may not gonna say, Cooper, come over.
Oh, Cooper wanders. We won't see.
Well,
Cooper.
we know Cooper.
So.
Yeah. She might show up in the picture.
All right. So we pulled out Mother's Day stuff for tonight. So, and some remembrances as well. So, what you got for us?
Well,
because we're celebrating you this weekend, I do not want to take anything away from you.
No, we are not celebrating me. We are
Yes,
celebrating mothers in general.
We're celebrating.
We're celebrating all mothers who are watching this. All grandmothers, all great-grandmothers. I'm just a mom. But, we're celebrating, remembering our moms.
We're celebrating all women.
We're celebrating all women, all daughters of God, as I always say.
Yes.
Amen.
Because all are daughter of God. So, so I decided to look up the origins of Mother's Day. And Britannica, remember Encyclopedia Britannica, is actually online. And so it had an article about it, which it talks about that in the Middle Ages, in the Middle Ages, the custom developed of allowing those who had moved away to visit their home parishes and their mothers on Latter Sunday, the fourth Sunday of Lent, which is interesting. This became Mothering Sunday in Britain, where it continued into modern times, although it has been largely replaced by Mother's Day. Mother's Day is celebrated on the second Sunday of the month in May.
In the United States.
Well, no, it says in England too.
In England too. Okay.
Yeah, and around the world it says, let's see, many other countries also celebrate the holiday on this day, while some mark the observance at other times of the year. So, Anna Jarvis of Philadelphia, whose mother had organized women's groups to promote friendship and health, originated Mother's Day. On May 12, 1907, she held a memorial service to at her late mother's church in Grafton, West Virginia, for her mother. Within 5 years, virtually every state was observing the day, and in 1914, so over 100 years ago, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson made it a national holiday. How lovely is that? It says, although Jarvis had promoted the wearing of a white carnation as a tribute to one's mother, I remember when I was growing up, many mothers wore a corsage to church, given to them by their family. The custom developed of wearing a red or pink carnation to represent a living mother, or a white carnation for a mother who was deceased. Over time, the day was expanded to include others such as grandmothers and aunts who played mothering roles. What had originally been a day of honor became associated with the sending of cards and the giving of gifts. Are you getting in here now?
I'm just coming here.
Oh, okay. However, in protest against its commercialization, Anna spent the last years of her life trying to abolish the holiday she had brought into being.
I was reading that today.
Yes. But there was also festivals honoring mothers and mother goddesses from ancient times. The Phrygians held a festival for Cybele, great mother of the gods, as did the Greeks for the goddess Rhea. Rhea, interesting. Likewise, the Romans adapted the practice to their own pantheon. Some countries have continued to observe ancient festivals. For example, Durga Puja, honoring the goddess Durga, remains an important festival in India. So you read all that too, huh?
I knew some of that. There was some of that I saw.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I ended up finding out some figures that, and I guess in 2015, there was a calculation done by Insure.com that says what would be the annual salary someone would have to pay, that you would have to pay someone to perform the tasks that mothers do at home.
Okay.
And it came out in 2015 to $62,985.
Well, it'd be worth more today.
There you go. So,
It's worth a lot anyway.
so do you know how many hours per week the average mom spends cooking?
No, because in my house,
Well, I didn't talk about this house. I wasn't going to talk about that one.
well, I mean, I
So,
used to cook all the
You
time.
did. You did.
I cook on weekends, but you are the main
But
cook.
the hours per week, the average hours per week that mom spends cooking is 14 hours
You're
per
distracted.
week.
It's not there.
Yeah, 14 hours per week. And so,
I do help with grocery shopping.
you do.
I do
You
do that, and
you
I
do.
cook on weekends.
This was not meant to be
I
any
know. I'm
comment
just saying. I'm
about
very thankful
you.
for you in your
So,
mothering role
there
too.
we go. So, let's see. Let's see what else we have here. 68% of people plan on calling their mother on Mother's Day.
Well, we
That
wish we could.
equals about 122.5 million phone calls, more than any other Sunday throughout the year.
Well, I just gotta say this. We were in Aldi's today. We go grocery shopping on Friday. And there was a lady and her mom in there, and the mom was probably in her 70s, maybe a little bit older, and the daughter was with her, and they were shopping together and feeling really good, and I stopped and said to them, I said, it's lovely to see you two together. I hope you have a wonderful Mother's Day, because my mom is no longer here, and it's so nice to see you with your mom. And they thanked her.
Average number of diaper changes a mom does by a baby's second birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Sam, you got a guess?
Well, I know that a baby goes through at least 10 diapers a day when they're a baby.
So like,
Okay.
what's
day.
the span again?
Up to 2 years old.
I would guess 3,000 to 30.
Did over 1,000.
Oh.
7,300.
And I remember all the diapers we
I-
bought, and I remember that Samuel, if you go through 10
I would
plus
think-
diapers a
I
day
was-
when you're a baby,
Well,
you're gonna go through 100 diapers in less than 10
no,
days.
I was more thinking like 3 diapers a day, and so I.
No, when you're a baby, you get changed all the time because you're always peeing or
So
pooping.
the highest recorded number of children born to one mother,
25.
69. The woman was married to a Russian peasant and lived in the 18th century. She gave birth to 16 pairs of twins, 7 sets of triplets, and 4 sets of quadruplets.
Is that really true?
What's that?
That's crazy.
Now, the highest recorded number of sets of triplets that one woman delivered was this woman who was in Italy between 1839 and 1886. She had 15 sets of
Oh,
triplets.
I love you.
So,
by the way.
But now the
15
oldest
sets of
mom,
triplets?
15 sets of triplets.
Wow. I love you, but you
So
know,
here's a few more for you. The oldest mother,
yes.
the age of the oldest mother to give birth,
69.
72. 72. An Indian woman named Ankari Panvar, who already had 5 grandchildren, and she had twins. So it also gives the height of the world's smallest mom. The height of the world's smallest mom was 2 feet 4 inches,
And
and
she
she
had
gave
children.
birth to
Wow.
3 babies.
Wow.
So, and what's even more interesting, so that was
Those are all
71
expensive.
centimeters. That's 71 centimeters was the smallest mother. And the longest recorded baby that was born was 71.12 centimeters.
Wow.
So that's like a little over, that's again.
I was gonna say
over 2
Samuel,
feet
when he
long.
was born, he was 9 pounds, 2.6 ounces, and he was. Well, Christopher was 21.5 inches. I don't remember Samuel's inches. I
No.
remember that Christopher was really
Well,
long.
The heaviest recorded baby was 22 pounds
I was kind of wondering after you said, how many children, a mom, the most amount that a mom could have. I wonder what father has had like the most children with him as well. That would be an
Well,
interesting one.
yeah, you have to. Well, I don't know, because the problem with that is you'd have to prove that they were really the father. If they had more than one woman they had children with.
Oh, by the way,
They didn't have
Well,
to go to
I don't
testing.
mean like more than one.
Now they could
I
be
mean,
a
like-
polygamist. They
But-
could be a polygamist and have had a bunch of children.
by the way, that baby, the 22-pound baby, actually was also the one that measured 71.12 centimeters. So it was by a
Okay, man,
woman
you're-
up in Canada who was actually a giantess. This is back in 1879. She was actually 7 feet 11 inches tall. The mom was, but the baby did not
Oh
survive.
my gosh, okay. I'm trying to think what kind of
It
house.
says it was
she lived in.
reported that when Anna's water broke, she lost an estimated 6 gallons of fluid.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So
Well,
there you
that's
go.
the oddities for tonight. I'll
There's
tell
the
you.
oddities for tonight.
Wow.
So-
Well, as typical people
Yes.
with 1, 2, 3 kids, maybe a few, 4, 5, 6 thrown in there.
Yeah.
Wow, we can't touch a lot of those stories. My
Nope.
goodness. Wow, although my grandmother had 9 children in 13 years, she had 8 girls and 1 son. My uncle died before he was a year old, and then my grandma Schwartz had 5 children, 3 girls, 2 boys, but 1 son died before he was a year old. So I had 2 uncles that died before they were a year old. I had at one time living, I had 10 aunts by blood and 10 uncles by marriage. And there's 26 of us first cousins on my mom's side.
There you go.
Now, if all my aunts had 8 kids, there'd be like 64 of us, but,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah. So, yeah, family's something.
Yeah.
So we thought, we'd also share a little bit about our moms tonight because neither of our moms are still here, and even though it's Mother's Day and they're not here, we still think of them all the time and miss them. And also just to say that there may be some of you watching who never were able to have children, or who maybe, I hope not, but you may have children that don't talk to you, or you may have had miscarriages or loss, or couldn't have children, and we know that Mother's Day is a tough day for those who've lost their moms, for those who've lost children, for those who never could be a mom when they wanted to be, to those who are estranged from their children. So we know that Mother's Day is a very mixed day. We remember when we didn't have a child and we were earnestly trying. Mother's Day was very tough my first few years as a pastor, especially after several miscarriages. I was very happy for everybody else. I was thankful for my mom, who was alive till just recently. But it was also a very sad day. So we understand that, and we feel for those who this is a tough day for. And also we understand that too, having lost our moms and wishing that they were still here to celebrate with us. But we have many wonderful memories of our moms and things that we are very thankful for, that our moms either taught us or showed us about life, and helped us to become the people we are. So I'm going to let you go ahead and talk about your mom.
Well, I'll tell a couple of fun stories about my mom. I was the last of 5 kids, and the one thing I've talked about a lot is that when my mother found out that she was pregnant with me, the way she put it is she cried for 2 weeks. But we found out one reason why was she was just about getting ready to go in on buying a craft store with a
I
friend of
thought she'd
hers.
already bought it.
One of the two. I forget what it was on that. But regardless, she tells a story that the rest of the family was so excited about it, she decided to be excited about it too. But my mother, I also tell this story, so my fun stories about my mother is my mother was not a good cook. She'd be the first one to tell you that, but Mary has never had to worry about me comparing her to my mother's cooking. Actually, she's really glad that I never compare her
No,
to
you've
my
always been
mother's
very
cooking.
appreciative of everything I made.
So, my mom was not known to be a good cook. So, the one that affected me personally was one time when I went home. I was as an adult went home and I decided to be polite to my mother and have some of her meatloaf, which she served with an ice cream scoop. It was pretty gross actually, but the first time that we had Thanksgiving at my parents' house was with Mary. Mary made the sweet potatoes, and so she went up to Mary and said, "Now, don't be offended if Phil, that's my dad, if Phil doesn't eat sweet potatoes, he doesn't like sweet potatoes." My dad had 3 helping. Let's just blame my mom.
Well, that's how I made them.
So those are some things. But my mom I learned a lot from my mom. My mom was an avid reader. I told stories about how I remember her just reading all the time, whether it was a religious book of some sort or one of her mysteries, an Agatha Christie or an Ellery Queen. She was also a very, very spiritual woman of faith. She had a Bible study for young mothers that happened at her church. She started the prayer chain at our church. She would make sure to pray with the pastor before every church service. There's a lot that I well remember about my mom. So I
And your
appreciate her a
mom
lot.
was an amazing woman.
She was.
She was the sweetest lady, and people that made comments about their mother-in-laws, but I have no complaints. And one year for Mother's Day, she had 3 daughters because she had David was the youngest and Jim's the oldest, and she had 2 daughter-in-laws, Madge and I was the last one, of course, with David for getting married. But one year for Mother's Day, she wrote each one of us a handwritten note, and she told us what she loved about us and what she liked about us, and it was just, I still have it. It was just one of the most wonderful presents I've ever been given, and it was so touching and kind and warm, and I just loved Peggy so very much, and I'm always thankful that she was my mother-in-law, because she was such a great lady, and she raised such a fine man in David, and David's family is just amazing, and we look forward to seeing them this summer, as many of them as we can. So we'll have to see who we'll get to see a good number of them, but we've missed being all together. I know all of us have missed being all together at Thanksgiving, so we're really, really looking forward to this trip. So my mom was the third of 8 girls and 1 brother, and I believe her brother was born after her. And like I said, my grandmother had 9 children in 13 years. My grandma Helen, which my mom was named Helen Agnes, and some people called her Helen, and most people called her Agnes. And it was funny because both my parents went by their middle names. I don't know a whole lot of people who do that. But, so, like I said, some people called her Helen Agnes, but not very many. But, so my mom grew up in a very Catholic family, and she went to Catholic grade school and high school, and she was a secretary for a number of years, and she also was a Catholic nun. I tell that often. I have a picture of her here at my house in her habit. I think she was a Dominican, I'm sure she was a Dominican, because her aunt, my great aunt, was a Dominican nun for over 75 years. And my mother very much admired Sister Mary Robert, who was her dad, my grandpa's sister. And but my mom tried for 6 months and it didn't work. And I said, you know what? I'm very grateful my mom didn't stay a nun, or I wouldn't be here. And I wouldn't have my kids, and I wouldn't have my brothers. None of us would be here if my mother decided to stay a nun. But she met my dad because they both had a sister in nursing school together in Quincy, Illinois, and they met because the sisters decided to set them up on a date. But my mom was 7 years older than my dad, and I did not know that till I was 16 years old because my dad made my mom cover it up. and it was at July 4th one year when my mom's youngest sister, Aunt Rita, was at our house, and I made a comment about my mom's age, and my aunt said, "Your mom is not that age," and I was a teenager, so I can't tell you exactly what age that was, but, and I said, "Well, how old is my mom?" And then she proceeded to tell me that my mom was 7 years older, and that's when I found out the story. And my dad didn't want his parents to know how old my mom was, so he made my mom change her license. But, you know, it caused a lot of problems when she was eligible for Social Security because the driver's license said one thing and a birth certificate said another. So, anyway, my mom, even though she lived in Chicago with several of her sisters, my dad was a farm boy, and she rode the train home from Chicago to Quincy to see my dad, and when they married, then my mom moved back onto a farm. She was the only one of her 7 sisters, the only one to be a farmer's wife. All of her sisters lived in either Springfield, Illinois. One lived in Quincy for a while, and then she moved to Naperville and then to Minnesota. And the rest of her sisters, okay, so 1, 2, 3, so 5 of her sisters lived in the metro Chicago area. And my Aunt Carolyn, who I just went back for a funeral, was the last one who lived in the Chicago area who died. And my Aunt Rita, the youngest one who lives in Springfield, is still alive and living in Springfield and doing great. I just talked to her the other day. So my mom did everything, kind of like your mom. Well, was your mom a Christian ed director for a while?
That was after I graduated from high school.
Okay. So my mom was a stay-at-home mom, but she did everything. I mean everything. She did all the books for my dad's farm and business. My dad had an agricultural business. She did all the books for many, many years. She cooked and cleaned and took care of the 4 of us. There's 4 of us. My brothers Tim, Tom, and Ted. I'm the oldest. Mary, and my initials are M.E., so I'd always say Tim, Tom, Ted, and me. And when we went to Catholic grade school, we lived on the Illinois side on a farm, and 3 miles away on the Missouri side was Hannibal, Missouri, where we went to church, we went to school, we had our jobs. And my mom, for many years, I couldn't even begin to count the thousands of trips she made. She drove all of us to school. My brother Tim and I rode a school bus for a few years, and then the Catholic school quit having a bus, and so our mom had to drive us most of the time, all the way through to my youngest brother, who's 10 and a half years younger than me. So my mom got us to everything. She took excellent care of us. We were in Scouts, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. I was in 4-H, and I was involved in a lot of stuff in high school, although by then I could drive. But my mom, you know, she's like a lot of moms. They do so much for you, and you don't realize what they've done for you until you're grown up. And oftentimes it takes having your own kids to realize just how much sacrifice and love. But my mom showed me a lot through example, just like David's mom. So my mom, she gave blood every chance she could, so I started giving blood when I was 18 because of my mom's very dedicated response to doing that. My mom was she worked the voting registration. She would get people to work with her, and she would get people registered to vote, and she would be an election judge, and she recruited others to be election judges with her, and she was on our small area. I grew up in the country, and we lived 9 miles from our town, and so we had a township board, and my mom was a part of that for many, many years. My mom was part of Garden Club and the Altar Guild at church, Catholic Women's, and she was part of the Home Extension Group. And my mom just really had a lot of friends. She was just very kind and loving woman, and I miss her, and I wish she was here. But I'm thankful for so many wonderful years with her. And
Your mom never knew a stranger.
no,
I don't know how many
no.
times that whenever we would be leaving a restaurant or just leaving from somewhere, that your mom wouldn't have to stop and talk to the person at the next table and get to know them and find out their entire life story before we actually left the restaurant.
Well, now I'm not quite that bad, but Well, listen.
Wow.
If there's a
Wow.
cute baby, I'm gonna say something, or a cute little kid,
Mom.
or they do something nice, or I like their
Mom.
shirt. I'm like my parents, you know. My parents
I
embarrassed
have
me when I was
been
younger.
in line with you
But,
at many different grocery stores where
yes.
we will stand in line, and if we're there long enough, you'll have already known like the entire backlog history of the person in front of us.
Well,
But you now know where she gets it from.
yes,
Oh,
I get
yeah.
it from my mom
Get it
and my
naturally,
dad.
Yes.
My
both of
parents were both they loved people, and they always loved meeting people, and they were just, you know, I was so embarrassed as a kid, but now,
I mean, it's the
Like-
best part about her, and it's the best part about you.
oh, no, you know,
you.
Oh, Mom.
Yes.
I miss my mom.
So we miss our mothers. So it's
Yeah, I told David, no, what did I tell? I was in Aldi's today, so we went to see, actually, I feel like it was a treat. But we all wanted to go. We went and saw the new Marvel movie. I love Marvel movies. We saw the new Doctor Strange. It was excellent. And so David dropped me off at Aldi's to get the groceries while he took Sam home, came back, and I was in the store, and there was, I said that about the lady
you
and
did.
the girl.
You
And
did.
I just, you know, it was so nice to see them together, and I was like, maybe miss my mom. So, and the lady, Pamela, who always checks us out at Aldi's, is the sweetest. She always makes me feel good, and she's just so kind and loving. So I got her some yellow lilies today to thank her and to wish her a happy Mother's Day. She has to work on Mother's Day, but she was telling us that her son made her an omelet because he, you know, I think that's the best thing is when your kids just tell you they love you and they're thankful for you. That's just what matters the most. It's such a sweet thing. So, and you do it all the time, Samuel. So you know, don't worry. I'm not. You do it all the time.
No, it's okay. I know I'm the perfect son. I know. I'm amazing.
It's
I
time
know.
for music. I can tell. It's time for music.
Yeah, 'cause it's getting pretty deep in here.
Yeah.
Boy, the cat,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought the cat was gonna jump on your back for a minute.
Ah, she's done before.
She's a little.
Little girl.
She tried using me a back scratch on. She don't like
So by the way, my mom's right here. So this,
Oh,
is,
yeah.
this is the picture of my mom. I think it's her high school picture. So there you go. If you
You know, I
can
got a
see that.
picture of my mom over there.
So yeah. So we
Hang on.
see right there.
I have one sitting out. I'm gonna go get it.
Okay.
And it was from her Mother's Day too. I'm almost sure. It's okay, little man.
So we are going to have a song. This
Sorry.
is kind of continuing the theme from Christopher of songs from Christmas shows. So
aren't Christmas songs.
that aren't Christmas songs. So hey, Christopher.
Hi.
All
How
right,
are
so
you?
there's my
I'm
mom, my brother Tim and I, and that was on a Mother's
Can you
Day
say, here, come on
when
over.
my mom was
Come
still
on here.
alive.
So can you say hello to everybody?
Hello, everybody.
Wave hi.
Hi.
Can you say Happy Mother's Day?
Happy Mother's Day.
Okay. Christopher, let's get the headphones off, okay? Let's get our headphones off. What are we going to do tonight?
Rudolph the Red-Nosed soundtrack wore a couple of misfits.
Okay, we're a couple of misfits from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
We're on a Christmas cake. We
Are you
Alright.
ready?
Right.
Okay.
We're a couple of misfits. We're a couple of misfits.
What's the matter with misfits? That's where we fit in. We're all Daffy and Dilly. Don't go around willy-nilly. Seems to us kind of silly that we don't fit in. We're a couple of misfits. We're a couple of misfits. What's the matter with misfits? That's where we fit in. I'm not such a misfit. I am not such a misfit. I'm an adorable reindeer. Why don't I fit in? I'm not such a misfit. I am not just a misfit. They can't find me. I quit. Seems I don't fit in. We're a couple of misfits. We're a couple of misfits. What's the matter with Miss?
Is there
Yay! Take a bow, take a bow. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Christopher.
Christopher.
You're welcome.
All right. Now we have something different. Sam has tried to coordinate song, it being Mother's Day this weekend with a song
I mean,
that we don't know.
I wouldn't
So-
say it's, too different. It's a pretty easy song to follow along
But
with.
we found out that he didn't know who it was. We looked it up. So this is a song actually from Glenn Campbell from back in the 80s.
Oh yeah, no, it's a really good
And the
one.
name of the song is
The hand that rocks the cradle rules the world.
The Hand That Rocks the Cradle Rules the World.
I like it a lot.
There you go. Okay. Hey, thank you,
That was a
Sam.
great song. I loved
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
That was very nice. That feels like I already got a Mother's Day
There you
present.
are. Aw.
As I always say, Christopher was the best Father's Day present David got because he was born
Right before
right
Father's
before
Day.
Father's Day, and Samuel was the best Mother's Day present because he was born
Oh, just there.
born just after Mother's Day. So yes, so Cam's birthday's coming in another week. So and he'll
Ah,
no
it's
longer
on
be a teenager. Wow.
And it'll
Which
be-
means that maybe next Friday night, we will dig out one picture to be able to show everybody.
No,
about
we
it.
are not going to embarrass him.
Hey, don't worry. You
I
guys
already got
don't.
it here.
You guys don't have to give me any gifts. My birthday is the end of school. That is the only gift
There
I could
we
ever
go.
need.
There we go. So hey, for Mother's Day, make sure you know what your mom's going to say to you. Your mom's going to say to you, the only thing I want is for you to go with me to church. So go to church this Sunday. If you want to do that at Epiphany Lutheran Church, you can come at 8:30 and 11 o'clock, and the 11 o'clock service will be streamed. So come for the 11 o'clock service. We will have the 9:45 Bible study on Revelation. So come for that.
If your mom isn't around anymore, go with your daughter, go with your son. But
Just go.
hopefully you'll get to talk to him online or see him, FaceTime him. But
Hey, Dad, I don't think I can follow both your requests at once. On one of the ways I'm going to you, and the other I'm not. I'm sorry.
That's right.
It doesn't
You're
work
You're
out
going
that
going
way.
with your
me on
mother. You're
Mother's
going
Day.
with your mother. So
Sam's going with me, and St. John will have worship at 10 a.m. We will be live streamed, and not only is it Mother's Day, it's also Good Shepherd Sunday, and we will also have the baptism of William Lohner, Matthew's little brother. So Matthew is now a big brother. So Heather and Marcus and Betty's great grandson, and he will be baptized. So it will be a wonderful day. So we hope that all of you will be able to make it to your church of choice or celebrate online. And we just want to wish everyone a wonderful Sunday. You are a daughter of God, even if your mother's no longer here, or your child's not speaking to you, or you weren't able to be a mom. You probably, as a woman, you've probably cared for someone in your life and been like a mother or like a sister or like an aunt to them. So let's celebrate that. Let's give thanks for that. Even as the tears run down our face, missing whoever we love that's not with us. I know God gives thanks for all of you, and we give thanks for you too. We give thanks for you joining us tonight, and we'll be back next Friday night. We'll be on Tuesday, Thursday night, and I'll be at worship Wednesday night. We always have worship on Wednesday night, so we'll look forward to seeing you online with us next week. And we just hope you have a wonderful weekend wherever you may be. Pray for the Midwest to get out of the cold and damp, so get some dry so the farmers can get planting. And that we could get a little rain here, but no damage, because we sure could use a little rain right now. So,
all right.
and we hope everybody has a beautiful, wonderful weekend. And thanks again for joining us. And may the Lord bless you and keep you.
The Lord make His face shine on you and be gracious to you,
The Lord look upon you in favor.
and give you His peace.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Have a great night. Happy Kentucky Derby. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Good Shepherd Sunday.
Good night,
Thanks
everyone.
for joining us. Good night.